Today I'm going to take you through a 30-minute deadlift and arms, barbell and dumbbell workout. You can do this as a follow along with me. I'm going to start off with my bar loaded to 50 kilos, that's 110 pounds total weight, and a pair of 10 kilo dumbbells, that's 22 pounds each, but you need to use whatever's right for you. I'll also be using a squat pad for some barbell hip thrust to make it a bit more comfortable, so grab one of them or even a towel if that makes it more comfortable for you. But first up, we're going to kick off this workout with a brief bodyweight warm-up before we get onto the main strength section. This warm-up consists of 4 exercises. We're going to do 30 seconds each, linking one straight into the other, and we're going to do 2 rounds in total. First up, we've got a Kang squat. So we're just going to start with a hip hinge and then sink into a squat and then reverse it on the way up. So if you push your hips back, then sink down into a squat, rise the hips back up and scoot through the glutes. So you're hinging, squatting through, back to that hinge and through to the top. So reach the hamstrings, bend the knees, reach the hamstrings, and then through to the top. Okay, one more time. Okay, next we've got inchworms. So hinge at the hip, reach to the toes, walk out into a press up position, walk back, touch your toes, stand up and repeat. From here, we'll be lying on your back, doing some leg raises. So hands by your side, head and shoulders off, just going for some leg raises. When you're lowering the legs down, make sure your lower back isn't arching off the floor in this base position. And then arms out, we're doing some wipers with these side to side drops. So I've got my knees at a 90-degree angle, arms outstretched, dropping about 2/3 of the way down on each side, making sure the opposite shoulder blade is staying in contact with the floor. We'll be linking this straight back into that second round of the Kang squats. So hands behind the ears, hinge at the hip, sink into your squat, back up with the hip, scoot through and repeat. Into the inchworms. So hinging, reaching to the toes, walking out, straight legs on the way back in so you can touch your toes, back up. So your minimal leg bend. Onto your back. The leg raises. Arms out. Side to side wipers. Okay, on to our first strength section. We need to load your barbell up to a weight Are you comfortable deadlifting for around 10 to 12 reps? We're going to do 4 exercises, 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off for 3 rounds. And then we'll have a half-time break. I'll repeat the same format with 4 new exercises for the second main strength section. I'm going to chalk up the hands with a bit of liquid chalk. I want you to start with your shoelaces under the bar, feet about hip width apart. I'm going to hinge at the hip, bend the knees. Let's go. Feel free to reset your back position every rep. It's really important to keep the bar traveling really close to your body all the way up. So starting almost touching your shins, if not touching. It's going to just clear the knees and then meet the quads nice and early. Nice flat back start position. Okay, we're going to go for the glute bridge. So if you've got that squat pad towel, or you can do it without, lie on your back. We're going to be doing some 3-second holds at the top of every rep. So bridge up, hold, 3, 2, 1, briefly down, straight back into the next rep. Hold, 3, 2, 1, briefly down, straight back into the next rep. I want you to squeeze the glutes, tilt your pelvis under like you're tucking your tail away. And then at the top, I also want you to drive your ribs down to flatten out your stomach. So you've got a slight pelvic tilt, hard squeeze of the glutes, and flattening of the stomach to avoid any arching of the lower back. Okay, onto the dumbbells now. We're gonna stay on the floor. We're gonna do some skull crushers. So we're just gonna hinge at the elbow, bringing the dumbbells down next to the ears, and then extend back to straight. I want you to minimize any movement of the upper part of the arm between the armpit and the elbow. I want to avoid flaring the elbows out too wide. Okay, so we hit the triceps, got to hit the biceps next. So we're going to do a classic bicep curl, palms facing forwards the whole time. So palms forwards, brace your core, squeeze, lower with control, squeeze the biceps, lower with control. So I'm unlocking my knees slightly, bracing my core position, making sure I'm squeezing the biceps hard at the top and lowering down with a slow tempo. Great job. Okay, so you've got 30 seconds to rest, and then we're going to go again back for round 2 with those deadlifts. If you need to make the weight heavier or lighter, feel free to pause the video and do that to get it perfect for that 40-second interval. Shoelaces under the bar, holding on just outside of the knees. Let's go. Focusing on that close bar position to the body. fairly close stance with the feet inside of the arms. No turn out of the toes. Take a fresh breath for every rep and brace. Onto that glute bridge. So driving up, holding, 3, 2, 1, down, and then straight back up. So we're not spending much time at the bottom resting, but we're holding at the top, squeezing the glutes, tucking the ribs down, tilting the pelvis under, driving predominantly through the heels. Right, putting the barbell to the side for a second, grabbing those dumbbells, ready for the skull crushers. Onto the feet for the bicep curls. Arms forwards, squeeze it up, low of control. Contract the bicep hard. Don't rest on vertical forearms, so don't come all the way up like this. We want to keep a little bit of tension. So you want to close the gap between your forearm and your bicep, but if you bring your elbows too far forwards like this, you'll just end up resting at the top. And for these sets, we're trying to maintain time under tension, which will maximize your results. Great job, okay. So there's 2 rounds done. We've just got 1 to go before we lower the weight slightly and move on to 4 new exercises. So get ready for those deadlifts. Parallel feet, shoelaces under the bar, holding on. You're gonna drop down, wrap the lats around, press through the floor and back. I like to imagine a deadlift is a mix of leg pressing the floor away and glute bridging your hips through. And the combination of 2 is going to give you that power. So bend your knees, leg press the floor away, glute bridge the hips through. holding at the top, briefly down, maximizing the time you're under tension, minimizing the time you're resting. Onto the dumbbells for the skull crushers. So controlling the way down, getting the dumbbells to come close to your ears without hitting yourself in the head. You could lock your elbows at the top. I like to have this slight angle, so although my arms are straight, they're not completely vertical. They're actually angling out like this. That's going to maintain tension on the tricep rather than locking and resting on the vertical. Okay, last set on these classic bicep curls. Got some more curl variations in the second section, hitting a slightly different emphasis on the bicep. Squeeze, control. Squeeze, control the way down. All right, take a 60-second break. I'm gonna lower the weight on the bar down to 40 kilos, 88 pounds total. We're gonna do 4 new exercises in the second section with the same format. If you want to take your training to a new level, consider joining my TPT virtual studio. This members area gives you exclusive access to an extensive follow-along video library not available on YouTube. It also includes written workout plans you can do at your own pace, taking the guesswork out of training and optimizing your results. Learn to fuel your body for success with nutrition resources, from meal plans to dietary strategies that work. Save yourself from expensive gym memberships, long travel times, and average results by joining the virtual studio. To check it out, follow the link in this video's description after your workout. So first up, we've got a Romanian deadlift. So this is going to start from the top, and although you're going to unlock your knees, we're going to keep almost straight legs the whole time. So hinge, stop when the bar comes somewhere just past your knees. If you're really flexible, you might get all the way to the floor. But most people, if they're keeping their legs unlocked but pretty much straight, are not going to get to the floor. And if you do, well done. So we're just keeping the load on the hamstrings, avoiding excessive leg bend at the bottom. Great job. Okay. We're going to do some close grip push-ups on the floor. If you can't do a full push-up, you can just do the full push-up this full push-up shape, but just the negative phase of the rep. Although I'm doing it on my knuckles, you don't have to do that. You can do the push-up with your hands flat on the floor. It's just personal preference. Keep those elbows tucked in nice and tight to the sides. We're trying to make this a tricep heavy press. We can do that with that narrow hand position and keeping the elbows in. Okay, back to the barbell. This time, we're gonna do a sumo deadlift variation. So, I want your feet a much wider stance, turned out about 45 degrees. Your hands are gonna be on the inside of the legs this time. Let's go. Same technique tips as before. Bar travels nice and close to the body. Flatten your back before the rep. Try and hold it in for the whole rep. Feel free to do a little reset of your position each time. Or if you just want to touch and go like this, that's fine as well. Depends how heavy you've got the bar. I personally like doing a little reset. All right, back to the biceps. I'm gonna hit a muscle called your brachioradialis, running down here. So we're gonna do a hammer curl. So that's basically a bicep curl, but you're not gonna twist. You're gonna keep a neutral grip on the dumbbells. Okay, 30 seconds off. Those dumbbells starting to feel a lot heavier on that round. Take your break, and then we're gonna go back for another round on the Romanian deadlifts. So deadlift up to the top. Unlock the knees, but then fix that angle. Imagine someone's pulling your hips backwards. That's gonna fold you in half, keeping the stretch on the hamstrings. Feeling those forearms on that. So onto the negative close grip push-ups, or if you can just do the full version the whole time, that's great. Keep your glutes tight, belly button drawn in, holding this nice plank position throughout the whole press up. If you run out of full reps, just go onto those negatives, resetting at the knees each time. Back onto that sumo deadlift variation. Usually this is a little bit easier on the lower back. So feet wider, turned out. Bend the knees, press through the legs and hinge at the same time. Nice wide knees. Try and have your knees pointed in the same direction as your toes. Picking up the dumbbells, ready for those hammer curls. All right, 30 seconds off. This workout is actually part of a longer barbell series called the Lift 2.0 barbell series. 16 30-minute workouts over 4 weeks put into a program. You can download the series guide in the description of this video if you're not already on the series. Let's get ready for that final round. Start with the Romanian deadlifts. Onto the close grip push-up or close grip negative push-ups. Final set of deadlifts with these sumos. So shoelaces starting under the bar if it's not rolling away from you. Toes out, arms in the center, nice and straight. Sink your hips down, push the knees out, flatten your back, drive through the legs. Definitely feeling heavier at the end of the workout. And that's it, workout complete. Thanks so much for joining me. Let me know in the comments below, how did you find that workout and where in the world are you following along from? I really do love to hear that. Here's the next day in the Lift 2.0 barbell series. Here's a quick cool down stretch if you want to do one now. If you're not already on the series, download your program guide in the description of this video, and I'll see you again soon for another workout.